Hello, welcome to the homework help video for lesson 10-3 homework, and I'm going to go over a few problems to help you get started on some of your work. So first up, we'll do the first problem, which is number 2, and you should recognize that these are two chords intersecting inside of a triangle, and we're concerned with their lengths. So their lengths are going to be related to by this equation. One part of one chord times the other part of that same chord, so that times that equals the same thing for the other chord, equals this times this. So putting those into an equation, it would be x plus 3 times x plus 4 is equal to x times x plus 9. You're going to want to multiply all this out. Use FOIL. You're going to get x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 12. That's first, outer, inner, last. Is equal to, this one you don't need to use FOIL, you can just distribute. X squared plus 9x. There's luckily an x squared on both sides, which really makes a big difference. This takes away the quadratic part of this equation. And then you're going to get 7x plus 12 is equal to 9x. Move your 7x over. 12 is equal to 2x. X is just going to be equal to 6. Okay, so that's the first one. You just basically need to know how to set up the problem, and the rest is algebra. For the second problem, though, number 4, as it is written, notice you have a secant and a tangent intersecting outside of a circle. And again, we're concerned with their lengths, not the angles or the arc measurements. So for this one, it's going to be whole times outer equals, and for the tangent, you really could call it whole times, actually, sorry, this is not a tangent. This is two secants. It looks like a tangent, but this is a secant with the outer 7.5 and then the inner 4.5. So in that case, it's whole times outer equals whole times outer. And I'm going to do 5 for the outer, and then the whole thing is 5 plus x is equal to 7.5, that's the outer, and then the whole thing is 7.5 plus 4.5. So I kind of did outer times whole because it's just easier to distribute this way. But anyway, you're going to get, this is really, I'll just multiply in the way it's written, 25 plus 5x, and then I'm going to simplify this one, 7.5 times, this one comes out to be 12. 7.5 times 12 is really 15 times 6, 90. And then I'm going to write this in the order that we usually would go, which is the x's first, and then the constant. Okay, so moving the 25 over, I got 5x is equal to 65. Divide by 5, x equals 13. Okay, so moving along, the next one I'm going to go over is the very last one on the first page, which is actually a two-part problem, and number 19 that is. So we're going to look for A and B. Notice B is one of the segments of a chord. A is also a segment of a chord. So that would mean, if I'm working on the chords, I have two different variables, and I can't really solve that simultaneously. But if I look at the tangent, this one is a tangent, by the way. The tan is the length of the tangent. And then this other one is a secant. So they intersect outside of a circle. I can use that one. So again, I'm going to do whole plus outer for each. The outer of the secant is 4. The whole thing is 4 plus a plus 6. And for the tangent, the whole thing is 10, and the outer part is really 10 also. So I'm just going to say 10 times 10. And or yeah, maybe I should use parentheses just to be consistent. 10 times 10. So anyway, I'm going to simplify. This is, inside the parentheses, I got a plus 10. And this is going to be 100 on this side. 4a plus 40 equals 100, 4a equals 60, and a then becomes 15. Okay, well, what about the b? This one, now that I know a is 15, it's a whole lot easier. I'm going to say, I'll just write 15. I'm going to say my b times 8 is equal to 15 times 6. And this is a pretty easy problem. 8b is equal to 90. b, divide both sides by 8, you're going to get a 90 over 8, which isn't a whole number, by the way. It's going to come out to be 11.25. But let's just round, as the key says, to the nearest tenth. So we'll say b is equal to 11.3. Okay, so that's the three that I was going to go over on the first page. And I'm going to go over one more problem, just because it's a little bit different, or a little bit more complicated, should I say. Notice on 33, you have an x here and an x plus 3 inside. And this is almost the same problem we just had. This is a secant and a tangent. But the reason I'm going over this one is because you have a quadratic that doesn't go away this time. So what is that going to be? The whole times outer. Outer is x. The whole thing is going to be x plus another x plus 3. And that's going to be equal to, this is a tangent once again. Or at least, yeah, it tells you TV is a tangent. So that's going to be the whole thing, and then the outer part is another 9. So I'm going to first combine my like terms inside the parentheses. X times 2x plus 3 equals, and then I'll just simplify that, 9 times 9 to be 81. This becomes 2x squared plus 3x is equal to 81. Now, the best thing you would want to do is move that 81 over, so everything's equal to 0. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 81 is then equal to 0. And then you're going to have to stop and look at this. Does this look like something I can factor? Maybe, maybe not. The fact that this is a 2 makes it a little bit harder. And if you don't see any way to factor it, the other best way to do this, in my opinion, would be to use the quadratic formula. So remember how to do that. We went over that in class, so it's quadratic formula. Just remember what the formula is. And this 2 would be the A, 3 would be the B, negative 81 is the C. Don't forget to use your negative. And that's really it for today's homework help video. I hope that really was helpful.